Hi and welcome to my place. I have had the best idea for a lovely piece of artwork. Have a look at this. I'm calling this my little ode to a little Russian Orthodox, or what do they call these wee things, like a little Russian icon, or Greek Orthodox. Isn't that just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful? And I love all these sparkles. I think I'm turning into a bit of a magpie when it comes to sparkles. But let me just show you how easy it is to produce your own artwork. And we've actually done these 3 processes over the last few weeks. Now, this here is the crackle finish, which we've done on lots of other things. But I'll show you how you can do it onto a canvas. So easy, and the technique is amazing. Right, getting rid of that to there. The first thing you need is a canvas and an image that we're going to stick onto the canvas. Like the bigger, and the other little rule of thumb is, depending on how big your image is, you need to have at least 2 inches border all around it. So bear that in mind when you're selecting whatever it is that you're going to stick onto your canvas. Right, from there, it's full strength PVA glue, and this is where you really need to make sure, and I'll put that there, that this is completely covered, all of your edges, in a nice thick, well, not too thick, a layer of your PVA. Right, from there, the next thing is to put that down onto your canvas and have, where possible, have the same distance from there to there to there to there. If in doubt, what I suggest you do is to just get a ruler and to measure that and make sure that that is straight. Now, the next thing I do is I turn that over and just use my hand in the back there to give that just a little bit of rub over to make sure that that is nice and flat. Now, if there are any bubbles about now, you need to get rid of those, and I just use a rolling pin and just roll across there to make sure that it is nice and flat. You might also, and see how it's starting to lift? If it lifts now, it's going to continue to lift, so just make sure that that is nice and flat. The other thing I like to do is to place it down flat and then to put a book on top of it, or a bit of a weight onto that, so that it is always flat. If you're using paper like this, and I'll show you a couple of examples very soon, but if there are any imperfections, any bubbles on there, you're going to see it at the end of your process. And what's the use of doing something if you don't get it right? Okay, from there, the next thing to do is to put your first layer of paint on it, like a nice contrast in colour. So I think that we're just going to imagine that that's all neat and tidy at this stage. I might just put a little bit of black onto there, or I'll put some gold, and I'll use some black first. Okay, so getting your black, and then it's just a matter of putting a nice coat all over your entire surface and going right up to the edges. Now, if you go over the edges, don't worry, because it actually just all adds to it anyway. The other thing to remember is, don't have your image too thick, but there is going to be 3 layers of paint go onto that. But if one is too high, we actually want this to look like it's all fused onto the paper. So just a decoupage method. So just make sure that they're all done and properly sealed. Right, from there, you need to let that wait. I leave it 24 hours because I like my base surface to be completely dry. From there, the next thing to do is, once that's all dry, and as I was saying before, if you've got any surfaces that have started to lift up, they will continue to lift up, so make sure that they have all been sealed down properly. From there, the next thing is to get your crackle finished. Now, there's lots and lots of different types of crackle that you can use. I just get mine from Spotlight here in New Zealand, or you can go to your hardware store. Most places that sell paint will have this. Right, it's just a matter now of putting this coat all over, nice even strokes. Now, I've told you before, but I'll tell you again, the thicker the application of crackle, the thicker the cracking is going to be. So what's actually going to happen with the crackle finish is, you're going to have your enamel, it's, what am I using here? It's an acrylic, and then you're going to put the gum on the top of that, and then you're going to put your next coat on top of that, and what will happen is that sandwich layer of the crackle is actually going to diffuse and just break all the fibers of the paint, so that you get that beautiful crackle. Right, from there, once you have done that, and I'll just get rid of this, should have been out in the garden shed today, but I'll get another piece of paper because we don't clean, 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 clean is the order of the day. Right, once you have done that, I've already put a layer on this, and it takes, depending on the humidity as to how long it's going to take to dry, but once that's on there, and that is ready to go now, it is just a matter of nice, easy strokes, putting that along there. And the finer the paint there, the less crackle you're going to have. You really need a bigger brush than I've got, but this will be fine for now. So you just put even surfaces. Now the other thing that you can't do is once you've got it on, you can't rework it, because what will happen is all the little fibres will have, or the little cracking or gel will have started to fuse, and once that fuses and you start going over it, you'll actually lift it off, so you can't do that. But you can already see what it's starting to do now. You get these fine, fine, fine little cracks like we've got all the way through here. Now, try and get the whole top coat on at the same time, because it's really difficult to go back and try and touch it up. But just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And you can see that there, it's already, see, it's all starting to go. It's like magic. I absolutely love it. So do the whole outside. And the wee rule of thumb is, if you're using metallic paints like gold, silver, or pewter, put your gold on first, then put your crackle on, then put your contrasting top coat on it. But it's really interesting how it all starts to work. I love this technique. Right, from there, once you have done that, where's my next one? Here it is. Once you've done that, the next thing is, getting back to what I was saying, if there are any imperfections and it wasn't stuck down properly, like this one here wasn't, you'll actually see that there's the bubbles in it. This is what we do not want. And when I'm looking down at it like this, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, that is wrong. But you can also see like the thick application of paint there has made the crackles quite like wide apart, and then also on this side, but then where I've been sort of a little bit sort of like less with the paint, just fine little crackles. Right, from there, the next thing to do is you've got to protect it. There's several things that you can use. You can spray it with a spray enamel paint, or you can use, this is the one that I like to use, this is the oil-based enamel. I really like this one because it gives that really lovely sheen and luster. Right, once that is dried, and I like to do 2 coats, once you've got your first coat on, give it a very fine sand, and then put another, wipe that down, and then put 2, possibly 3 coats of varnish over the top of it. The more you get, the more of a glass mirror-like effect that you're going to get. Right, from there, the next thing is to embellish, and I had a lovely, I don't know where you could be in the world, but we've got lots and lots of little Asian shops where you can buy, you know, we call them the $2 shops here, where you can buy all these lovely little sparkly jewels, and I buy little rings and pull those to pieces. So you can find a bit of sparkle anywhere in the world really if you go looking for it. So from there, the next thing to do is to use the glue, and I use the Craft Smart Ultra Glue. It is fantastic, this stuff. It's as thick as you could ever imagine, and it's just a matter of deciding where you want to put your little embellishing jewels. But I thought you could have one there. In fact, I'll probably go all the way around. Now, with that, coming over and having a look at this one here, what I've done is I really love that red border, so I've brought these down like a couple of millimeters all around and then put my jewels on. I absolutely love this. I've always wanted one. I think that the peasants went hungry while the royalty and those, you know, right at the top of the food chain got to have these beautiful little bits of artwork. And when you actually look into these, all around where these little flowers are, that's all been embellished with little baby pearls and little diamonds. And when you look at all of these precious gems around here, what I've done is just taken those out to the side. Really nice way of producing a bit of artwork. I hope you've enjoyed this because I love doing things like this. Thanks for watching, and I will see you another day.